Hi there everybody, it's Craig Cobb here, filling in for Nick McDonald from Trade with Precision, and this week another instalment of the ICE commentary looking at the Russell Index as well as some other US index markets. And look, straight away when I look at the Russell right now, you can have a look at what it did last week, and it didn't do a great deal. I mean, 1, 2, 3. He said this is the week through here between this bar to this bar. Oh, sorry, candle. Not a great deal really happened. We broke high, we moved lower. It just didn't seem to do a great deal, and it seemed to be reflected across a lot of the index markets last week. But when we go and have a look through at what this may mean for the week ahead, and start from the monthly. Well, the monthly, we still see strength in this trend. There is no sign of weakness just yet on the monthly. Okay, so we're still looking very bullish on the monthly. Coming up to the weekly now, and what we're seeing is we have had quite a decent move. Pullback here, good move. Pullback, but all but very brief. We saw it, snap back quite quickly and a push high. We're starting to see a little bit of overextension there, and you can see this was last week's candle. So over the previous 2 weeks, we did not see a great deal actually occur. Something else to note as well is that once the candles start to get small, it generally has been a point at which we've seen markets pull back. It hasn't happened straight away, but when it has been small candles the last couple of times, we have seen a pullback to the averages. Now if we look back here, small candle here, relatively indecisive, and then we saw it eventually get back over the next sort of month or so. Small candle here, we saw it eventually get back into the averages. We've got a small candle here. It is still a little bit bullish, but also not massively bullish. It's not a very, very bullish candle like last week was. So I'm starting to think that it would be very healthy to see a pullback on the Russell back into these moving averages, and a really nice level on the weekly would really be back in and around these old highs, as we saw back here. When we came back and retested that 1,000 a couple of months ago, and as we saw also back here, we pull back into the old highs and then move, pull back into these old highs and then move, just pulling back into that level of equilibrium in there with the moving averages. So on the weekly, it certainly is due for a pullback. It could have one at any moment. It could also move higher. So we come down to the daily and see what the daily is actually showing us. If we see here, there was some resistance through there that we have broken away, and that's the level I was showing on the weekly for a sensible pullback on the weekly time frame. Our indicators are all looking good, and our trend is still looking very nice as well. We are extended from the moving averages, albeit not by a great deal, and we saw very little activity last week. All this being said, there's not that clear a sign that we are going to see a pullback. There's no real weakness coming in. There is just a bit of a delay, a bit of a consolidation. Now there's one or two things I believe will happen the week ahead of us. We'll either see the market pull back into these averages, in which case I'll be looking for opportunities to join to the long side and continue on with this strong trend. The other is we just consolidate and we wait for the moving averages to come back up in here. And on the consolidation, I look to see for confirmations of breaks and moves higher for long opportunities. Now coming back, so we'll come back to the Russell in just a minute. We'll have a look at some of these other cash markets and see what they have to say to us. And the Dow, first of all, on the monthly, once more, we're back into this buy zone. We're looking very bullish for the month of October. Now, keep in mind, the month of October is not finished yet, but there isn't too much more time. I think 4 more days, or 4 trading days, until this candle will be shut, and then a new one will open. Looking quite bullish right now. It's had that pullback into the buy zone, not all the way, not right in, but into this moving average zone, nonetheless. On the weekly, we are sort of range bound. We are hitting these highs and pulling back, hitting the high and pulling back. We're heading towards those highs. We've still got about 100 points actually. About 100 points to the high side until we hit this level of resistance, in which case we may see some selling activity again. On the daily, the Dow was more bullish than we saw on the Russell last week. The moving averages are now fanning quite nicely, and it was a small yet bullish candle there on Friday. So it does point more towards the side of strong, a bullish market. However, we do need to be aware that we do have some resistance coming up there. So that works more towards the side of the bullish Russell. Coming and having a look at the S&P 500. It's not too dissimilar actually, except for it has moved better in the trend. The monthly, once more, it is in an uptrend and it is extended, and it could be due for a pullback at any minute. But aside from the fact that we could have a pullback, we haven't had it for such a long time. It does continue to look bullish. Coming now to the weekly, we see this pattern of pulling back into this zone and moving, as we saw here, here, and here once again. We have now set new higher highs in this trend and higher lows. It is a very strong uptrend. On the daily now, It does back up and support my view that a pullback on the Russell is likely at some stage on the daily, and I do believe that we may see it this week. Now, the reason I say that is that we have seen a good move and then quite a decent pullback, which has been shown there pulling back into the averages on the weekly. We see it move away again, and we do look due for a pullback into these averages. And the reason we say that and we like that and we want that is because at the point of equilibrium, it gives us an opportunity as traders to get involved at a nice wholesale level. Now, if it does continue to move higher, I will be looking for longs, but certainly, across index markets, but looking for pullback on there as well. So coming back to the Russell, want to look at the Nasdaq. My mistake. The Nasdaq. The monthly is looking very strong, no doubt. Same sort of thing, looking for, it is a bit extended. As we have on the weekly here as well, a great trend and a little bit extended there as well. The daily, we've seen sort of a similar type of characteristic is what we saw on the Russell, not moving all that much last week and definitely due for a pullback. So taking all that information into account on the Russell this week, I'm going to say that I would be I'm still bullish on the Russell, looking for long opportunities definitely, but being cautiously bullish. Okay, we are sitting in a place where we are likely to see a pullback. Now, until that does start to pull back, we can't confirm that will actually occur. If we continue to move higher, I will be cautiously bullish, looking for intraday trades off certain levels, and look to get long for and that's what my plan of attack will be. If we see it pull back, then what I'll be waiting for is a price to get back into this zone and looking for opportunities to buy in and around these moving averages to rejoin this very impressive and very long-winded uptrend that we've seen for the last couple of years, and that we certainly have seen this year, and certainly most recently very, very bullish moves. So I am cautiously bullish, looking for long opportunities if we continue to break higher. Otherwise, waiting patiently for a pullback into here, maybe some short-term shorts down here, dealing around this 1,100 level. If we can get some selling opportunities in there on the way back down into these levels, then I'll certainly be looking at those as well. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic trading week. Nick will be back with you next week, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye for now.